Yeah.
I have it called the open exchange to talk about
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Like I talk about literally anything.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm well versed in everything, but I want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
No, my boyfriend, like, he listens to all the different sports and then there's like the ones, like some of the sports guys, they tell different stories. I don't know,
Yeah,
how it
there's a
goes,
ton.
and, like,
What is he a fan of?
I know that the one, which is Shane Gillis and Matt, I hear all the time, and then Matt has his own, like he does like the history ones. It's kind of funny, and I hear it at nighttime. And then I don't know which sports one, but I do listen to it. But it's like a less serious sports podcast, and it's more like I don't know nothing about sports, so I hear it sometimes in the morning, and it makes me laugh.
Listen, entertainment is key in 2026. You know, but it's interesting enough. One of the things that I found interesting on the intake form that you filled out, and I have my notes here, so I'll be peeking at this. You said that I'm just as lost, but I'm for sure going to figure it out. And I think a lot of people feel like that in general. I think even with this, like I feel lost with this sometimes. I feel lost with work. I feel lost as a dad, as a husband, like, but I'm going to figure it out. It's tough to think because like the two sound like they shouldn't fit together, but they do. So let me ask you, like, which one, like on a hard day, which one are you struggling with the most? Trying to figure it out or being lost?
On a hard day, I would say figuring it out is the thing I'm struggling with the most. I feel like you'll always, if you want something, you're going to figure it out, right? There's no answer. You have your back against the wall, especially if you're someone that like you came from nothing. You don't, I've always had to figure it out. And like coming from a family that it's like, I didn't really have any connections, whatever. I figured it out because like it started with the restaurant industry. And then I figured out, the power of networking and the power of not only networking, but like sustaining your relationships.
Sure.
Okay, great. Now that job helped me get another job, a better serving job.
Sure.
So it's like you always just, if you want something, you're going to figure it out. Your back's against the wall. You have no other option.
Right.
But some people, they don't. And you see that. And it's, I don't know. I don't know. But
so there's tension that comes with it, right? Because I think you're not to guess your age or anything like that, but you know, I'm millennial.
I'm 27, so
you're
I think
27.
I feel more like a millennial.
I would say every time I've had an interaction with you, it felt similar. Like, wow. So what is that? Is that Gen Z?
But I always say, but I always kid and say like I'm a millennial. I don't want to be put in a box, but I'm not a millennial. But then they like label themselves as millennials. But I feel like that's the whole thing is like no one wants to be labeled anything.
And not to. I think, and to be completely honest, I think those labels are a joke in my opinion. But they're labels, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to. It's more so to like, hey, what year were you born in?
Yeah.
And that was just me trying to respectfully ask how old you were.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
But I think there's like a little bit of tension for everybody of like, what's the right thing to do to accomplish the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this is what we're talking about is like moving in life in a direction of like, how do I win, but also stay happy? And I think that there's a little bit of tension and not happy in a way of like sad or depressed or anything like that. But we attach things to our previous versions of ourselves and previous lives, if you will, right? And so I'm just, from a perspective is like, what's the tension that you have between that statement when we go back to that part of the intake form?
Yeah. Well, one of the things too that you mentioned is making the right decision. And I've come to realize too, it's like, you're never going to make the right decision. You just make the decision and you make the best out of the decision you made. And I do this sometimes where I go back and I'm like, oh, is that the right thing? Did I say the right thing? It doesn't matter because it's already out there. Yeah. And now you either have to do damage control or you ride it out or most times that like you don't even know what the other decision is ever going to be.
Sure.
Like we never get to look at our lives and be like, oh, I'm living in this timeline, but this is what would have happened if I did this timeline. You never know.
Right.
And so it almost doesn't matter. I have a habit of overthinking sometimes, like, is it right? Is it wrong? There's no right or wrong. It's just you do.
But okay, so when it comes to that part, there's a decision that has to be made. And you said, you just do, right? Yep. Yeah, but
how do you make that decision?
How do you come to that decision making and feeling confident that you made the right decision, even though it's like, you just do there's something, there's levels to how it plays out in your head, I think, and then how you act.
How do I, and the question is, how do I make
the
decision?
Like that decision of knowing that there's not a right decision.
Yeah.
There's just the decision. But if the outcome isn't what you had maybe set for, how do you maybe reconvene and say like that on to the next one, or beat yourself up? I beat myself up a lot.
Yeah.
And I did that a lot throughout the podcast. I did that a lot throughout my insurance sales career. Like, I'm a perfectionist. I try to be, at least, but I'm not. So I guess I'm asking, like, with you, like, how do you balance that piece?
Yeah, I think, like you said, even with like your past lives, like insurance, the podcast, and the same with real estate, it's like, sometimes you make a bad decision, right? Sometimes you say the wrong thing to the client and you might lose the client. You can beat yourself up over it, but, and I say you got to give ourselves grace, because it's like the same thing would you say to your friend. It's like, yeah, you're down, but you're like, you can't dwell over it because life's going to keep on pushing. And most of the time we don't even take our own advice on that, and we keep bogging ourselves down. But sometimes I remind myself, like, you got to give yourself some time to be upset, or to, if it is a bad decision, but you got to come back and be like, how am I going to make it better if it doesn't go the way you want it to go? But if you make a decision and it doesn't go the way you want to go, now you know. And now you can either do something to correct that decision, or you might even go down a different path that you didn't even expect.
How long did that take for you to figure out?
I would say like in the more recent years, but my whole life has just been figuring it out, making a decision from a very young age. I've been on my own. Yeah. And it's like, you just sink or swim. Yeah.
Now, just to properly introduce you, which we went more cold open today. In some episodes are like that, some episodes are not. Kaprece Ransaw, correct? I think pronounce it?
Yeah, I just go by Caprice. Kaprece Ransaw.
Kaprece, so Kaprece Ransaw joining me today, entrepreneur, real estate agent. We've known each other for some introduction through a mutual friend back in, I want to say 2017, probably right when you got into the industry, right around there.
2018 probably.
Yeah, around there, 2017 to 2018. And here we are, now you are 8 years into your career as a real estate agent. You have your coffee brand, which I'm excited to dive into a little bit and taste. But the one thing that really stood out to me on your intake form was at age 16, you got kicked out of your house.
Yeah.
Let's go to that real quick, because I think probably the most tension that's going to hook people and who are going to stick around for at least 15 minutes of this episode, I think a lot of people will be intrigued to hear about that.
Yeah. So I was 16 and I got kicked out of my house because my mom is a tough lover, and I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And what I was supposed to do was to go to school and to graduate high school, and I wasn't going to school. I was skipping school and doing anything that your mother told you not to do. I was doing out late with the wrong people, drinking, drugs, and just I was doing anything destructive that I could. And if I knew it was destructive and I knew it was like a little fire spice, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And I don't know why, but
you don't know why?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I mean, not that I don't know why. I think even at that age, I didn't even. A weird thing to say is like at that age, I didn't even see myself living to 21.
Wow.
So I didn't really care. If that made, I don't know. It was like something like I didn't picture myself going to college. I didn't picture myself like anything in life beyond where I was in that moment. And maybe it's like carelessness or recklessness. I don't know what that was. But even at that age, like I remember my mom forcing me to go to therapy. I've had the same therapist since I was 16. Longest relationship in my life. But yeah, she kicked me out around my 16th birthday. And it's probably the best thing that did happen in a way. I was also very stubborn and very independent anyways. So it was one of those things that when it did happen, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. Yeah. And, and now looking back at it, like, I don't blame my mom in a way, because sometimes I see people that have kids that need to figure it out and they don't know. Maybe it wasn't the best decision.
Obviously, that's one way to do it. But.
Yeah. Well, and my mom just comes from, I think, from a different background as well.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Okay, so you're from Rhode Island.
I'm from Rhode
Where's your
Island.
mom from? She also from Rhode Island?
She traveled around a bit. Like, Rhode Island, but they were born in Georgia, and then
Gotcha. That sounds like a Southern thing to do. That's
why.
Yeah,
a lot of like I would say Southern roots in my family for sure. But very just very disciplined, especially with like respect.
Military
manners.
or no?
She was in the military for a bit. But no, not my grandparents. But just very old school strict. I would say.
Sure. So let's go. You're 16. You get kicked out. What do you remember like after getting kicked out? Was it like do you feel like it was a relief for you? I mean, not to mention that's only 10 years ago. So it's not like this happened 20 years ago. Like that's a short amount of time. You know, I'll be 37 in the next 4 months. And when I think about it, I'm like, 10 years ago, that's a long time. But that's actually not that long ago.
No, it's not.
Like it's probably clear, like the details of that's probably pretty clear as far as getting kicked out, what you did next, right? What happened?
I partied with my friends.
When you got kicked out, you're like, yo, let's go. I got kicked out.
I didn't care. I can be out wherever I wanted to.
It's crazy.
And then I was crashing with my uncle at his place. And but even there, I like kind of had rules where it was like, and then I also had like a job at the time. And I think that's what it was like, I got my first job at 15 and you start making your own money. And then, you start thinking you have a little bit more independence and you can buy your own stuff. And even that's part of the reason why I got my own job at 15 was because I wanted I always want more. Yeah. And I've always been told that my whole life. And I wanted something. I wanted my mom to buy me clothes or whatever it was. And she's like, well, get a job. I was like, well, okay then. And then I went and got a job. Yeah. And then I've been working in the restaurant. And then I started working in restaurants at 15. But yeah, I feel like the first thing I probably did was go out with my friends. Went to work, and like I remember living at my uncle's house, and I'd have to walk like 20 minutes to work sometimes at this bouncy house place with kids. And yeah, but then and we tried to like mend the relationship. Me and my mom have a great relationship now, but during that time, and it was not gonna happen on both ends. And then I kind of cleaned up my act, but not really. But it probably wasn't until I was like closer to graduating high school that I was like, oh, I have a shot at this.
I know a lot of times when you think about relationships with your parents or a family member or just strong, deep relationships, you look back and like I'll think for me specifically, without mentioning any names, in family, like sometimes feel like there's a disconnect. And the disconnect could either be me having a guard up, or it could be, misperception. When you say you and your mom have a really good relationship now, how long did it take to get there?
I would say it took a while. Like it wasn't until I was probably closer to like 21, 22, probably COVID. Yeah. COVID, I would say. I don't even know how old I was. 22 in COVID or something. So yeah, probably COVID. We got closer, and especially as on my own and stuff. And then like my brother having his own first kid.
What were those initial like steps to rebuild with your mom like? Was it
spending more time together, I think, and especially when you're growing up, it's like reaching out. Oh, I'm sad. Oh, I have this going on. I need your advice. Yeah.
Did you feel like there was resentment while that was happening, or did you feel like you had let that go over the 5 years that you had been moved out of the house?
I would say like we would still be in touch during like even after.
So she didn't just throw you out on the wall. She kept you close.
We were trying like through counseling, trying to mend that relationship. But after she threw me out, and then after that was pretty much, I went back for a little bit, then moved in with my boyfriend, and then went to college and kind of lived at college. But I don't think I ever really resented her because I knew I was in the wrong.
Yeah. That's good. That's key. Accountability.
And I think if anything, or have had resentment or grudge, it's like more towards my father I had, but no, I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong.
Now
So
you mentioned about your father. He passed away.
yes.
How long ago?
So during COVID.
During COVID.
Yeah.
And were your parents still together when that happened?
No, so they were split, and then my father lives out in the Midwest. And we had like an estranged relationship, but we would talk briefly time to time. He passed during COVID at a young age, during when they were putting people on ventilators. And yeah. And then I got the call. I was in Florida with my best friend partying, and I got the call that he'd passed. And it was a weird feeling, but I don't think I've ever felt like a relief almost, because you know where they are now. And even though I didn't get to mend that relationship face to face, I was able to mend my emotional relationship.
Yeah.
My internal.
I can kind of relate, and I won't go too much into it right now, but I'll make a connection on that. I just want to know a little bit more. So, you said that you had a hard time forgiving him. Was that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess I didn't realize how upset I was.
Yeah, and this is kind of like throughout the same process of getting kicked out of the house. Were they together when you got kicked out? Your mom and dad?
No,
they weren't.
no. They've been long not together. But it was just more of like, you're not around.
Yeah.
So whatever the feelings and things go into that, but yeah.
And you felt the door close with a sense of weight relief.
Yeah, I would say the door closed, and with that, new doors opened, because I have 2 older half brothers that the relationships grew stronger through the passing of that. And my family, I have a big family in the Midwest on that side, so I've been able to connect more with them and went out to visit. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, of course. One more question about him and that dynamic. When he passed, did you feel like it was forgiveness in a sense? Like, all right, like, I didn't get to actually say it to you, but here's my feelings behind it.
I would say it was a relief. Like, I didn't realize how strong of a grudge I had. And certain things that are very, very hard, especially I think emotionally, I will do anything to avoid.
Sure. I think that's natural.
And I don't know, like, those things affect you long term, whether 100%. You believe it or not. So I could have probably went my whole life while holding that weight, and who knows how that could have continued to affect me. I'm not saying I'm all healed and but
and without going into detail, I had a similar situation. I don't know my father. I've never met him. And I've shared on my podcast a handful of times, and I've did a whole solo episode about being a dad without having a dad. And all I know from when I was younger, he would call me a couple times, usually on my birthday, age 10, age 16, and 17. He called me on my birthday. And I don't know where you stand on faith. I could tell you where I stand on faith. I believe in God, and I believe in forgiveness. And I do remember after I started going to church on my own when I was like 16 years old, after a couple of services, I remember something specific about having a dad that's not there. And I basically took it within like my own heart, like, I forgive him, but I've never told him that, right? Anyway, fast forward, waiting for him to call me on my birthday, like he had been calling me on 18 to be like, listen, no love loss, I forgive you. No phone call. Haven't had the opportunity to tell him that until recently, where I came across him. Hadn't heard from him for 2023 or 2022. My wife got me Ancestry DNA. I took it. A couple people came back. Nothing popped. About a year later, something popped. That it was his sister, and straight up told her, like, hey, like, let him know I forgive him. No love loss. But I say that because I'm curious I was curious about, and again, you don't have to go too much into it, but I was curious on like that feeling of knowing someone, and then, having them pass away. And then what is it that you would want them to know now? If you know my.
Yeah. Part of me wanted to quote like a Dave Chappelle quote. But no, I mean, if I could tell anyone anything, and not even I think my father, but I've lost a lot of family. I was talking to my boyfriend about this. Some people don't go through life without ever going to a funeral. Other people, you go to 6, 7 funerals within like your short span of life. So being able to handle how you can handle death. But I guess like even him and even like my grandfather would be like, I'm great. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I hope you're proud. Yeah. I know you're proud, so it doesn't matter. I think, yeah.
All right. Listen, I know that's what my show's about. So I tried to get to know you a little bit, and then kind of the thought process behind it. Like I think we're all wired, in a way. You just said something that, like, I was about to make a Dave Chappelle quote. That's our natural defense of dealing with things that are very emotional.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of things that I deal with in similar sense, but this is just what my show's about. Let's go through, you said metamorphosis. You said you have the bug to create, and let's see, whatever. So you said that you had the bug to create, and that you want to know what the bug feels like, not what it makes you do, but what it makes you feel in your body. What does that bug feel? Because now you have this company, this thing that you've been working on. We'll talk a little bit about that. You have the real estate thing. What exactly were you meaning that with you have that bug to create?
Like the itch. Like I feel that when I started real estate at 19. I dropped out of the University of Rhode Island to start real estate, and then I later graduated from Rhode Island College with an online degree. But during my time with real estate, I did it because I didn't expect it to go the way it was going to go when I first got my license. I not only got in the market at a good time, I ended up with a great real estate team that was also growing, investing a lot in Zillow, growing their own team. So I helped build out that team and be a part of the culture that started there. And I will say one thing about real estate is that I felt I was just in this like powerhouse deal closing like mode, but I felt like my creativity was a little bit stunted. I don't, and more, I guess, in an artistic way.
Sure.
You do have to be creative in real estate to problem solve, right? Get deals done. How are we going to fix this? How are you going to get clients? But I think the bug I had, or maybe just the energy shifted into something else, that I wanted to produce something and put something out to people and be able to share. That people can touch, feel, smell, and
taste,
especially taste, and just enjoy. And I got that bug back because, for example, one of the things that I used to love doing, especially when I was young, was live music, concerts, shows.
Going to?
Yeah. Okay. So even young, we used to go. I was like 15 going to Providence to go to live music with my friends. I will say once I got into real estate, I remember the last music festival I went to, and I remember saying like, "Oh, I have a big girl job now. I can't rave, can't go to these shows or whatever." And then, especially with COVID, I really closed that book of my life. And then I had a good friend of mine come visit me from LA during the end of like the year after COVID. I can't remember the year, and we went to New York City, and we went to a rave. And it's been so long since I danced and was out and with strangers doing the same thing that you just love doing, it just being. And that reignited something in me, but it wasn't right away that I acted on it.
What do you mean reignite? Like, what did you feel then?
It like reignited an energy that when I felt young again, I felt alive and I felt just like excited about something. And I guess that's like, right. And maybe I had to do something with COVID, whatever, the world at the time, but feeling excited about something. Like I wasn't feeling excited about real estate anymore. And I started dabbling back into dancing. And mind you, this was like an event that I was at completely sober, whatever, and we were having a good time. But and I started dabbling into like festivals again and working them, and I behind the scenes and I was just trying to figure out my place. And from that, Kawfee was kind of born because I went down to Florida. I was going to Florida. I was going to all these events where people are doing creative things, fun creative things that caught people's attention.
Were you intentionally doing that, or were you like you feeling that bug, like you said? Like, were you intentionally going to this to figure out what you wanted to create, or were you just like following kind of how you felt about these things?
No, I was just following the feeling that I felt, and wanting to be around these other people. And like for a minute, I thought I wanted to climb the corporate world, like these festival entertainment corporate world. And then I decided, no, I don't want to do that.
Why? Why'd you decide not to?
I think corporate is just not me. And then I even worked for like a restaurant venue, helping with their entertainment and stuff like that. And then, so it was kind of coming along. And then last year I decided, I thought I was going to go work for someone else and run like their coffee program. And for a while, I just kept feeling after I graduated college, I thought I had to go work for another either restaurant group or do social media for someone else or whatever. And it just wasn't panning out. And my boyfriend looked at me, he was like, you don't have to go work for someone.
Right.
Just do your own thing. And so then I started like making my own content videos and stuff. So really 1 year ago, I committed to like making consistent content and getting better at it and learning how to get better at it. And then through that process, we were thinking about opening like a space, a third space, which is like a place that's not your home and not work. And being in real estate, I don't really want to pay a landlord, and I would want an option to buy. And the real estate, like location is so important to everything that you do. And then we tabled it and then revisited the idea. He's like, why don't you do a coffee cart or coffee? And so then we decided on a mobile coffee, we could go to people and
that's cool.
See kind of what this creative project can bring and attract. So
we're here now. This is about a year, you're saying?
No, we started that in August.
You guys started this in August.
Well, we came up with the idea and then hit the ground running in August.
Can I taste it now?
Yeah.
Taste it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's strong. I'm going to let
you know. That is good.
If you like strong coffee.
I do. Yeah. I love strong coffee. I don't mind black coffee. Okay. So is this the only one you make? Like what's the...
So no, we have, right now we have about like 6 flavors. So we have a coffee milk cold brew. We have vanilla bean cold brew. Matcha is a big thing that we're doing and doing right, making sure we're doing right. Matcha. I have ube matcha, strawberry shortcake matcha.
Delicious.
I'm good. I'm glad. Vanilla matcha. And then we're going to be adding hojicha to our menu. So we, in August, decided let's do something. All right, let's do it. And we hit the ground running, doing all the research and deciding and test tasting and this and that. And then I would say we put our order in for our custom design trailer in November around Thanksgiving. We did our first pop-up at a charity event in November with our cans. And then we did a second one at Key Real Estate. And then, so when I first started like committing to content, it was like for my own personal content and learning how to almost create yourself into a brand that people want to follow.
That works, huh? That does work.
It does.
Wow.
So I would say I don't have like a huge following on TikTok, not yet.
Doesn't matter,
but it's growing. Yeah. And then,
but you got views. You probably have more views than followers and stuff, right?
Yeah, more views than followers, and I have people that I'm like building my own community, my own little community of people I've never met before. And TikTok's easier to grow on than it is Instagram because Instagram's your sphere typically, and then as whatever you're doing, people start following you.
Yeah.
But with creating content 1 year ago, I said, all right, I really want to create content. So I was trying different stuff. Do I want to do like more a diary series type? Do I want to do fitness, food? I don't know, whatever it is. But I think everyone, when you're starting, if it's something you want to do, you just have to keep trying.
Sure.
And then you follow people whose content you like,
right.
and then you try to just emulate it. Like it's really
so crazy.
And it's like it's funny because it's not.
It's simple.
It's simple, and we make it so hard on ourselves. And then one of the biggest things is if just document what you're doing.
Yes.
You don't got. And I remember feeling like, especially in the, like 1 year ago, it's like I have to do something to create this content.
Yes, that's so
and then
funny.
I stopped trying to do stuff to make content, and you're just making content about what you're doing. Especially, I live like some people, they don't, like, I feel like I live a pretty interesting life. Other people, maybe not so much, but there's something interesting you do every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it's just your routine, like, you feel like you have to eat 3 M&Ms every day. Tell me about why you feel like you need to eat 3 blue M&Ms every day. And if you kind of just peel it back like that, and that's how I got into talking sometimes. I don't do it as much still because I've been busy with coffee content about ADHD, because I randomly made a TikTok talking about my ADHD. And I didn't expect so many people to relate to that. And I was like, oh, this is pretty niche. And so on my personal account but with Kawfee's social media, we launched that in November, and it's grown very, very quickly because obviously there's a product. And I wanted to specifically create an Instagrammable product. It's Instagrammable coffee.
What do you mean?
It's aesthetically pleasing. So in today's world, when you create something, especially a food product or whatever, or clothes or something, you have to think about how is it going to be perceived online most of the time.
Yep.
Because that's what's going to help organically sell your product. And if you want it to sell quickly, that's the best thing. Yeah. You could think about all the experience, especially like people go to Miami and you go to LA, like all these experiences, it's specifically for people to take pictures and videos of. And now on top of that, if you can make it an actual good product, that's even better.
Yeah. What do you, are you trying to solve for anything, right, with this?
So with that, we want it to be mobile for people to take to the beach, boating, golfing, anything like that. And then I will also be creating some wellness drinks as well. So I want to create a shelf sustainable product.
Nice.
With more, I won't get into it, but yeah. Anyways.
So are you again, I don't know coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Is this from scratch? Like, are you?
Yeah. So we work with a roaster out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We get our beans from them. We make our own cold brew that we've gone through 5 roasters within the 9 months, and we've finally found one. We've locked in a really good relationship. Relationships are so important to me with who I work with. You know this in real estate too. Sure. You think about how many times someone's like, oh, the fanciest mortgage lender, whatever. You're like, I have a good relationship with this person. They pick up the phone. We can conversate, have questions, bounce ideas off each other. I'm going to work with them.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing is when people don't answer the phone. You're not going to answer my email. You're not going to get back to me. You want my business? Answer the phone. Yeah. Like, or tell me you're going to get back to me. That drives me up the wall. So anyways, after 5 roasters, we've locked one in, and we create our cold brew from scratch. We worked with them on creating a particular roast, as well as the process that we do it. And then my boyfriend and I, we worked on the formulas. And the same with the matcha. So we use a very high quality matcha imported from Japan. The biggest thing, part of the reason why also I created coffee is like I was sick of drinking shitty matcha. Yeah. You still pay $8-9 for it, and it's not good. Yeah. But I'll pay for a good product. Yeah, yeah. So
what's this go for?
So our black is $7. Mm-hmm. Our specialty cold brew like lattes are $8. Our matcha plain is $9. Vanilla matcha $10, and then our specialty matcha drinks are $11.
Wow. I mean, if I keep drinking this, I'm going to be up all night. I usually
it's tough drinking at coffee in the afternoon.
Especially, I usually cut off around 1 and it's usually like 3 8-ounce cups.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of coffee.
8 ounces, is that what? It's less than 400 milligrams.
I guess depends on like
and again I do like 1 in the morning when I wake up,
Yeah.
and I'll have like 1 when I sit at my desk, and we're up at like early because we have kids, so we're up at like 5:36. So I'll have 1 then, and then I'll have 1 at like 10, and then I'll have 1 around like 12:31, and usually that's just I like the I don't need coffee because I don't. It doesn't like keep me locked in. I just genuinely like the taste of it.
Yeah.
But the process seems pretty intense, like, and you have competitors. So like you obviously have to test competitors, right? Like how are you doing that piece? Like in 9 months too, like that's.
So literally the whole 9 months was almost once or twice a week. I dragged my boyfriend. We got to go to this coffee shop. We got to go here. We got to go there. And I did test out a lot of competitors, and there's still competitors opening up. And just like real estate, like think about how many realtors are in a square mile.
And people, the nice thing about coffee is like, yes, you'll have your faithfuls, but people like coffee. So they'll go here as your faithful, but then they'll go here as like, I'm in a different part of the state or whatever. So it's not like a disadvantage, I don't think, in my opinion.
And part of our coffee in general is creating an elevated experience. So even as coffee itself grows, we want to be able to do more collaborations and just more fun things that don't revolve around alcohol.
Yeah, I really love the building in public. It's funny because I find myself too, like I have that. That's why I have this podcast. It's very much the same idea of like having that bug to create, and I didn't know I had that bug to create until I got into like 30 episodes of doing this, and then I started buying more equipment, and I started, I talked to my wife, like, maybe you want to do it here. And here we are 104 episodes in. But I find myself too, that this piece makes me feel young. Yeah. But the whole build in public, I tried to do the whole build in public online, and it's like the commitment to that is pretty hard. You do a lot of BTS stuff. Is that what's kind of the behind what really is maybe got you more traction than the actual content?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of behind the scenes. And the thing is, like, the thing with the internet is that you control your story.
Yeah.
So even if you're building in public, you don't have to share everything.
Sure.
And even if your personal stuff, right? Someone thinks, oh, you have such a good life or whatever it is. You only see 1% of my day to day or whatever. And it's like, even with the building in public, some people don't believe in it, other people do. And I think in today's world, there's so much stuff in like questioning with competitors online, AI, and just people want more authenticity. And I think that is what we're seeing people being gravitated towards with businesses. And they're sick of like the big corporations that don't show authenticity. And that's why you're seeing all these big companies, Wendy's, Burger King, Walmart, they're on TikTok. They have their little interns on TikTok trying to be relatable. It's because people, they want to feel authentic.
I feel like it's too late for them.
It is. Yeah. I mean, they're not going anywhere. But I do understand, like, you see all these big companies making an effort to stay relevant and to be relatable, to be authentic, to have the behind the scenes. And that's what makes people connected to you in a world that we're getting more and more disconnected.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. We'll wrap up here in a few. You mentioned on the form here that procrastination is still what is hard. I do want to push back a little bit on that. What are you procrastinating on right now?
Building my website.
Why?
Yeah,
like, it's just
because it's either hire someone to do it. I don't know what I want it to look like. I don't know what I want on it, and then it's like I got to learn how to do it myself, or do I just have someone else do it? And I think when it comes to a website, I think they can either be really well and help you, or they can be not good and look like crap.
With the website, what would you ideally like on that?
I want it to be hip, and I want it to also have, like, one of the things on our website is like coffee records, like a playlist, either like a Spotify playlist that we have in there. And as we kind of pick up more events and like things that we like, collaborations that we're doing and pictures of stuff we've done. So, and even just like we want to be able to curate some of our own stuff and experiences, whether we're curating it for another brand or company or for ourselves. So
are you shut off at all? Do you just like don't think about real estate at all or coffee at any point in
no.
your no? Okay, so you're always
There's no off. And
Yeah.
real estate's my bread and butter and made me the money to do this.
Sure.
I can say full transparency. I'm not as invested in as I was before, but I don't want to say give it up, and maybe it'll just be in a different manner. But yeah.
What's the next thing for coffee? Like, what do you hope for?
To create my product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I want to create a product you can buy.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. So that's attached to this?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be necessarily that.
Man, I love the way you think, though. I love I mean, just that more, which probably ties to just your 15-year-old self of, you know, the independence.
It's never enough.
Man, it's Yeah, you know, you mentioned something and I responded to. I've disconnected from social media, and I only use it for research, and or just the post of the clip or post some insurance stuff. I've long gone are the days of me posting all the time. You know, I don't have the capacity for it, the timing of all that. But every now and again, I see people like you or anyone else that's within the immediate circle of people I've met in the last decade since I've been doing insurance. And I want to comment. And one of the things you had mentioned is people with ADHD, which I have been diagnosed with late in life. Recently, about a year and a half ago, I got diagnosed with because I was dealing with some stuff that I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't really like how this is feeling. So I was diagnosed with it. And you had said, what do you, I think it was, and maybe you can fact check me if you remember that, but you were like, people with ADHD, what do you do? I think kind of like not to procrastinate on the thing or help you stay focused on the thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah. How
do
you stay focused on what you need to get done?
Yeah. Or I think it was even more along the lines without like limiting the distraction, whatever it was.
How do you limit your distractions and focus on whatever the task at hand? Or
something like that. And I remember like what I've learned throughout this diagnosis is even when I'm procrastinating and I'm supposed to be doing the thing like selling insurance at 2:00 on a Monday afternoon, right? I lean into the other thing. So like, for example, I had a card shop. You see all those sports cards over there. I have a card shop that I was running online for a little bit, and I still do it every now and again. I get stuff on eBay and whatnot. I would find myself stepping away from work and then go do that when I shouldn't be. But then internally, I'd be feeling guilty, like I should be working. And then I'm like not being productive at all. And what I've learned is when I lean into the thing, whatever it is, it takes the anxiety away of feeling like I'm doing myself a disservice or I'm not doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing. Just leaning into whatever that task is, so it takes the pressure off. And for me, that's been a game changer. Like it's turned while yes, it's procrastination, but it's turned it into almost like a gift because now it's like, all right, I just put all my energy into this and I'm just going to go back to the other thing that I was doing.
Yeah, if you give yourself permission almost to enjoy, and that's a hard thing to do too. And it's like, okay, well, stop thinking about doing the other thing while you're doing this. Enjoy this for whatever time frame that you allow yourself to do it. And then you're going to go back to the other thing with a better energy.
1000%. So when I don't know what the response was of others on that. Did you find anybody else say something similar, or what did you take away from what people said?
I can't remember. On full honesty, but
or I guess let me ask you, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
so when I have to do something I really don't want to do, I usually try to time block it, and then I either go to the public library, if it's something I have to do on the computer, if it was homework for school, and now I'm forced to sit there.
Yeah,
and then if not, it really has to be like the increments. Usually, if you say I'm going to start this project and just do it for 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, and then you can let yourself walk away from it. At least it started.
Sure.
And now you can, and usually once you start the thing, it was never as hard as, or as big of a mountain as you thought it was. And you're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
But that's me usually with my taxes every tax season. So,
that's great. Well, listen, Kaprece, I appreciate the opportunity to have you come on.
Thank you.
Episode 104. Where can people find you, real estate, coffee, and whatever else you decide to bring to the market here?
So Instagram, TikTok is Kaprece_Ann, KAPRECE_ANN, and then coffee, drink coffee. And don't forget, it's coffee with a K, KAWFE.
One more time.
KAWFEE, coffee.
Awesome. So is that little Rhode Island accent?
So the tagline is, it's a New England thing.
That's hilarious.
So if you get it, you get it.
Absolutely love it. Guys, make sure you check out Kaprece. Make sure you check out coffee, delicious coffee. I'm going to save this for tomorrow, though, by the way, because I'm saying
it is rocket fuel. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no, it's delicious. But yeah, I'm going to make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow the channel. For those who don't subscribe but listen to the podcast, greatly appreciate if you subscribe to it. It's on the Paulie M channel on YouTube. That's where the Open Exchange lives. Make sure you follow Kaprece and Coffee, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.